Okay. Right. One quick thing before we start. You are in one of the most competitive businesses in the world. You look at how many travel agents there are today in Bahrain. How many were there 5 years ago? The number has exploded. Are they all good? Well, the answer is no, unfortunately. Some are really good. Some not so good. How do you get into the really good bracket? Well, number one, you have to have trained staff, of course, but also you have to have two things in business. You have to be better or different. If you can be both, wonderful. In the 50s, this is before internet. This is when television was still in black and white and every country had maybe one or two channels. Yeah. How did you innovate? Tell me, do you think in the 50s, okay, was it easy to see the place where your friends went on holiday? No. Could you hear the place where your friends went on holiday? No. Could you get a message easily? No. Yeah. So you imagine you're a travel agent and you wanted a way that your customers, when they get overseas, they could send a postcard back with a message and a nice picture. And they could hear the music of the country you went to. Do you think that would be quite a wild thing in the 1950s?
Yeah.
In that case, I will send you a little video this evening of how they did that. Yeah. They were different. This travel agent was different from everybody else. When you got your tickets and everything, you had a prepaid postcard. Yeah. In other words, their rep or their office in that other country sent over some stamps. You stuck them on the postcard. It was prepaid. All your customers had to do is write a little message, put it in a post box, and their friends at home could see, get a message, see where they were staying, and listen to the music and do all this. And it was all done on a piece of paper. Bet you watched that video tonight. Anyway, off we go for our students who are going to be trained and therefore better and different from the people who are not trained. So what are we going to do? First of all, you're going to tell me when you can see the screen.
Scan.
Yeah, okay, good. Right. This is what we're going to do today. This is what they call the learning outcomes. We're going to know which currencies, when you write down the currencies, which one have no decimal points, which ones have 2, which ones have 3. For instance, in Bahrain, when we write down, we can write down 5.500. We can have 3 figures after the decimal point. If you're using the euro, no, you can have 5.50. If you have Japanese yen, you just have 5, no 0.00s. We're going to have to work out which currency are we supposed to use for that ticket, because they may be going to 5 different countries. and they buy the ticket here, but they start the journey there. How do we decide what fare to use? We're going to look at NUCs and how they are used, and then we're going to look at how do we change NUCs into real money. We also have a situation sometimes where we've got an amount in another currency, like a tax. Yeah, so you have to pay the UK tax, okay, but that's a currency. So currency, we want to change to BHD. Currency to currency, we use the BSR. And I'll be sending you, of course, the PDF section of this book, and here's all the module numbers. Right, a couple of pieces of terminology. Once the journey's been priced in NUCs, we've got to change it into real money, or the local currency fare, abbreviated as LCF. And that is always the country where travel starts. I don't care where you're paying for it. You've worked out the fare in NUCs. The first thing you do is you change that NUC into the currency of the country where you start the journey, country of commencement. If you want to pay in another currency, yes, you can do that, but you have to change the local currency fare into the currency of the country of payment. So, as always, the GDS works all this out for you if it's a set itinerary. But people are using travel agents now for the more complicated journeys. Yeah. You know, not Bahrain, Dubai, Bahrain, but Bahrain, Dubai, Bangkok, the train down to Singapore, Singapore back to Bahrain. They're using travel agents a lot more, and travel agents need to understand things a lot more. If we change NUCs to a local currency fare, we use the IROE, IATA rate of exchange. Sometimes it's abbreviated to just ROE. Now, this rate of exchange, you know, currencies go up and down like crazy. It would be impossible to work in an international business if you didn't have something more stable. So IATA, what they've done is they said, right, 4 times a year, we are going to set the rate of exchange between these currencies. Okay. And once we've set that rate, it lasts for 3 months. Much more stable than changing 2 times a day. Okay. So the IATA rate of exchange is set by IATA 4 times a year. And each time it's set, it's valid or doesn't change for 3 months. Unless there's some terrible disaster with a currency, okay, which doesn't happen very much. Right, so it changes 4 times a year and it's frozen for 3 months, as I've just said. IROE figure NUCs to Bahrain dinars. Now, they will give you the rate of exchange. You cannot remember rates of exchange. But then they will tell you something funny, and it's called up or nearest. Now, if I tell you you have 1.3 and you have to go up to the nearest whole one, what's your number? You got 1.3 and you have to go up to the nearest whole one. What would it be? What's that? 2, thank you. I'm not tricking you this time, okay? It's very, very good to always not trust me, but this one was an honest one. But if I have 1.3 and I tell you go to the nearest one, up or down, the nearest one, is 1.3 nearest to 1 or 2?
1.
So we got to be careful about this. Am I going up to the higher, or am I going to the nearest? That means I can go up or down. If you go up, it's always called full rounding. If you can go up or down, it's called half rounding. Right. When we do a conversion, I ought to have worked out the conversion rates so that, you know, when you do currencies, you change a currency to a currency. Sometimes you multiply, sometimes you divide, it depends. Not with the IROE. You take the NUC, always multiply by the IROE. They've worked it out, so it's always a multiplication sum. Say we've got 500 NUCs and we're going to multiply by this rate of exchange. We get 192.8238. Now, if it says we have to go to the nearest one, yeah, that means I can go up or down. We have to sell in ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everything has to be whole ones. If I have 2.8, is 2.8 nearest to 2 or 3?
3.
I go up. So my final answer is 193. Okay? So there's two ways to round currency. Full adjustment means you round up, okay? And this is the most common one. It's used by most currencies. There's 2 or 3 where you can go up or down, but normally it's up. Sometimes it's expressed as the letter H followed by the rounding unit. So if I see H1, means I have to go up to the highest 1. But because currencies all have different values, I mean, 1 Bahrain dinar is quite nice. 1 Iraqi dinar, not so useful. You know, 1 Singapore dollar, okay. 1 Japanese yen, no. So these rounding units change. You can have 5, 10, 50, 100, and some currencies even 1,000, because one of that currency is worth nothing. So when we've taken the NUC multiplied by the IROE, we get this amount. And this is called the unrounded, or sometimes called the raw amount. That means just the figure on the calculator without going up or down. If it says we have to go to the highest one, now you take the rounding unit, ones are in this column, and 1 extra figure, only 1 extra figure. So if it says round 1, you take the ones plus 1 extra figure. If it says round 10, you take the tens plus 1 extra figure. Say we have 6.0. That's already a whole 1 unit, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's already done. I know it's got 9999999. Irrelevant. I just take the 1 column and 1 extra figure. That's it. That's all I'm interested in. So the fact that this is 99999, don't care. It's 246. If I have 246.1000000, okay, I take the rounding unit 1, which is 6.1. Then I go up to 247. Okay, so this is a little bit tricky. Take the rounding unit plus one extra figure. Okay, the fact that this is 0, 0, 0, I don't care. I take this number, the ones, and one extra. We're still doing full adjustment, the highest 5. Now, if they say 5s, we go up 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. We go up in whole 5s. We've got 6.0, and we can have 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, up in 5s. So do you think 6, do you think 5 would be okay? If I have to go up?
Should be 4 if the fine is 250.
Okay, we've got 6 here. Think of 0, 5, 10, 15, 20. 6 is in between 5 and 10, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, so we go up to the 10. So that 46 becomes 50. Because the 6 becomes 10, carry the 1, 250. If we have to do it in tens, I take my 10 column plus one extra figure. So I can have 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 46 is between 40 and 50. If I have to go up, what would it be?
50.
50. Okay. Still 10. I've got 40.0. So I'm allowed 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. This is already a multiple of 10, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about this 999. You only want tens plus one figure. That's all you want. Hundreds. Right. 240. I can have 0, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. So 240 is between 200 and 300. So I would go up to what?
300.
300. Some countries have very high value, like Kuwaiti dinar, and they go up in 0.1s. So here's the 0.1 column and one extra figure. So that means I can have 0.0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, and so on. If I have 900 fills, say, what's the nearest 100 up? Or the nearest 0.1 up?
100.
So, yeah. But this one, I've got 9 and 0, okay? If it was 0.91, I would go up to the nearest 0.1 up. Do I need to go up or down on this one, or is it already a 0.1?
Already a 0.1.
Fine, so it stays as it is. If I have 40.62, so the rounding unit is 0.1 plus one extra figure, I can have 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7. 0.6, 0.7. If it's 0.62, is it up would be 6 or 7? Okay, 0.62. Go up to the nearest 10 fills.
7.
7. There you are. 7. Now, this is when we go to the higher figure. The higher figure. Now we're going to look at nearest. See, N nearest. And this is called half adjustment or half rounding. That means I can go up or down. So I want the nearest one. 6.0, and then I ignore all the rest. Is 6.0 already a whole 1 unit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, it is. So I don't need to do anything. What if I have 6.1? Now I can have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've got 6, 7. Is 6.1 nearest to 6 or 7?
6.
I come down to 246. 246.49. 6.49, is it nearest to 6 or 7?
The middle.
Well, 50 is in the middle. This is one little bit below the middle, so we go down. Now yours. What if it's absolutely in the middle? Let me ask you a question. If it's your business, okay, and you've got 6.5, would you prefer to charge 6 or 7?
6. 7. 7.
7, that's why it goes up. So if it's absolutely in the middle, 0.5, anything 0.5 and above, you go up. 0.49 or less, you go down. Okay? This one, 6.68, right? 6.68. Is it above 0.5? Is it bigger than 0.5?
Yes.
0.68. Is it bigger than 0.5?
Yeah. Yeah.
Go up 247. Okay. So if it ends in 6.5, up. 6.49 or less, you go down. And this applies basically to two currencies, pound sterling and US dollars. Okay. GBP and USD. So, oops. Let's have a look at some of these. Now, sometimes you will see one country, yeah, and it's got a little plus sign next to it. Can you see this here? Can you see the plus sign?
Yes.
No, you can't see the plus sign.
Yeah.
You can, okay. If
Yeah.
a country has a plus sign, it means there may be restrictions on using it for international fairs. Okay. Or maybe you cannot use it for international fairs at all. Let's have a look at the first country, Afghanistan. For fairs, what currency do they use? What does it say here for Afghanistan?
United States dollars.
US dollars. That means you cannot use their money at all for international airfares. But for Algeria, what currency do they use?
Algerian dinar.
Right, it means you can use their currency, but maybe you can only refund in Algeria. There could be some restriction. What currency do they use in Bahrain?
Bahraini dinar.
Good, I'm glad you know that one. Is there any plus sign in front of Bahrain?
No.
Right, that means Bahrain currency valid everywhere in the world. Okay? Yeah, you can buy the ticket in Bahrain, get a refund in England. It's what they call a strong currency. Okay? These, or a hard currency, these two are what they call soft currencies. So we get these little charts, and it tells us the country, what currency they use, the currency code, and then there's this funny number here. This is mainly used for banking. Bankers don't just use letters for currencies, they use numbers as well. We're not interested. The next thing they give us might be the rate of exchange. So for the US dollar, 1 NUC equals 1. Okay? For Algeria, 1 NUC, we multiply by 77.522 . For Bahrain dinar, whatever the NUC is, multiply by this rate of exchange. And that stays solid for 3 months. Okay? Then we have this blue one. This is the rounding unit for fares. And this is where you find out, do you go to 1 or 2 or whatever? Okay? This column is for other charges. They have this separate because this column here, okay, is for air fares only. If you're buying an in-flight meal, is that an airfare?
No.
No, it's an ancillary, so use this one. Okay, sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're different. And the last column here tells you how many figures to use after the decimal point. Now, it used to be for Bahrain dinar, we used to use 3 figures after the decimal point. Now on BSB tickets or IATA tickets, I think it's 2 figures, yes? Anybody issuing tickets at the moment? Anyway, it doesn't matter. When you're in the exam, whatever information they give you, use it. Even if you know it's changed, it doesn't matter. If they give you London is GMT plus 10, you know that's rubbish. It doesn't matter, use it, okay? Because if they make a mistake in the exam, it's not your fault. Now, at the top, there's always an explanation what's in each column. Country, currency name, codes, alpha, meaning letters, numeric, meaning numbers, from NUCs multiplied by this, local currency fare, other charges, decimal points, how many figures to use after the decimal point, okay? So if it says decimal point 3, okay, you have to have 3 figures after the decimal point. If it says decimal 0, you have no figures after the decimal point. So if it says rounding 1, okay, we round as we discussed, okay, we get 399. If it says decimal 3, you need 3 zeros after the decimal point. That's all it means. Okay. So let's do a quick exercise. And this is where you're going to need your calculators. We've got Thailand. The currency name is the baht. The code is THB. NUC's local currency fares H5. What does that mean? Does it mean I go up or down? If it's higher, up or down? Up. And do I go up in ones or tens or hundreds? What do I go up in? What's my unit to go up?
5.
5. So it's 0, 5, 10, 15, 20. I've got the information here. Right, convert the following to Thailand currency. So put in your calculator and you see, let me zoom in because I'm not very good at this. Right. 4543.90. Okay. Now, here's the rate of exchange. Do I multiply or divide? There's a clue in the question. What does that mean?
Multiply.
Right. For IATA rate of exchange, you always take the NUC multiplied by the IROE. So if you could take 4543.90, multiply by that, is that what you get on your calculator? Is that what you get on your calculator?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Now we have to round up to the highest 5. So let's look at this number. We've got 2. Now that's the column where 0, 5 is going to be, yes? So 2.3. What's the nearest complete whole 5 up? You can have 0, the next step up, 5. You got 2.3 and you have to go higher up. So the 2.3 becomes go on quick, I can't stand like this all day. 5. Yeah, 2.3, the nearest 5 up is 5. If I have 11.9 and the rounding unit is 5, I can have 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So I've got 11.5. What's the nearest complete 5 up? Thank you. It's as simple as that. 0, 5, 10. 10's not enough for 11. 15 up. So we've got 173,995. My final answer is going to be the currency code, because if I tell you 173,995, what does it mean? Okay, here's a number. 7795168. 7795168. What's that number? Well, it's my old telephone number in Singapore. Okay. If I don't tell you it's a telephone number, how do you know? Yeah. If I tell you 173995, I've got to put a currency code. Otherwise, I don't know what you're talking about. So my final answer will be THB 173995. Do I need to put 0.00 or 0.000? What's that say here?
No.
Yeah, decimal units blank, that means blank. You don't use it. And that is how you change NUCs into real money. Okay, let's say we've got United Kingdom. Pound sterling, rate of exchange, nearest one. Tell me, if I use United Kingdom money, will I have a figure after the decimal point?
2. 2.
2, right. And it says nearest one, half rounding. So I go up or down to the nearest one.
Down.
So let's just say I've got this. If it's equal or greater than 0.5, go up. If it's equal or less than 49, go down. So say I've done the calculation, I get 2556.3, right, 6.34. Am I going to go up or down? Oops, sorry.
Down.
Down. So my answer is 2556.00 because it says 2 decimal points. But there is something missing here. What do you think's missing?
Currency code.
Thank you. The currency code is missing. 2556.00 could be Australian dollars. I don't know what you're talking about. If you put GBP in front, then I know. United States of America. Highest one. Yeah? Up or down?
Up.
If it's right, it's that if it says highest, means you have to go up. Allow me to change this to right. Now it says N1. What does that mean?
Nearest one.
Nearer, so I can go up or down. The
Up.
rate of exchange is 1. So 1 NUC is 1 US dollar. See, I told you it was the US dollar, didn't I? Do I use any figures after the decimal point? What's this? Do I use a figure after the decimal point?
Two.
Yes, I use 2 figures after the decimal point. I think my system might be slowing down. You can't hear me very well. Anyway, so if I take the NUC, multiply by 1, and I get 255.6.64. 6.64. Is it bigger than 0.50? Is it equal or bigger than 0.5?
Bigger.
So I go, whoops, I go up. Okay. There's still something missing. What's missing now? It's the same thing that was missing on the previous question.
The
Currency.
currency.
Currency code, which is USD. Okay. Right. Time for you to do some work. Here we have some countries. Okay. The NUC figure for the ticket is the same for everybody. Here's the IROE. So you're going to have to take this NUC multiplied by this rate of exchange and then follow these notes. Can I change something? No, I won't yet. So you've got rounding units, you've got decimals. Look at Burkina Faso. Do you have any figures after the decimal point? For the blue one, Burkina Faso?
No.
Anything?
No.
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 What about China?
No.
No. Jordan?
Yes.
How many figures?
3.
You're getting the idea. So what I want to know is, yeah, you take this times this, you've got your converted amount, do this. I'm interested in your final total without currency codes. Reason because I haven't given you the currency codes and I don't expect you to remember them. Okay. Normally, there would be a column here and it would say the currency code. For the time being, I'm just interested in, can you get the right number? Okay. So this is one time, the only time you don't put a currency code, you just put in the number. So you can prove to me, I can work it out. Okay. So
Question for United Arab Emirates.
yeah.
Why do they put 0? If it's 0, then why did they mention 0?
Oh, sometimes they do to make it confusing.
Okay.
Because I don't, you see, okay, does everybody here use Sabre? Anyone using Galileo?
I don't use any of them.
Okay, in that case, let's keep it simple. Okay, I've just taken away the 0. But blank or 0 actually means the same thing, okay? Yeah, because that's a very good point. Why suddenly a 0? Okay, and the others are blank. Is because they actually mean the same thing. And depending on the GDS or CRS you're using, you might get a different display. But Miss Fahima's doing everything Sabre. Let's do it Sabre way. Okay? Right, so it is now 5 o'clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 30 seconds, 45, 3. I'll give you 5 minutes to do all of them. The channel is open, so you can message and talk to each other. Treat this like a class exercise, not an individual exercise, okay? Yes?
Okay.
Okay, please start. If you get stuck on a question, move to the next question because we're going to do all the answers together anyway. Pause recording. services. Right, ladies, gentlemen, are we ready?
Yes.
All right. Here's the answer sheet. Do you agree? Now, I've put in the currency codes here. You only needed to get that number. Is there any number here you disagree with?
For the last one,
UAE, yes.
if it's by 10,
Yes.
I thought it would be 9070.
Yes. How could it end in 4 if it's all in tens? Yes? Do you agree?
Yes.
If
Yes.
everything has to be 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, how could it end in 4? It's not possible, is it?
Yeah.
So 9064, nearest 10 will be 70. Now, I think I've warned you in the past not to trust me. Haven't I warned you about that?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Because here was one you shouldn't have trusted me. But as soon as somebody corrects a mistake, I know they've got it. Yeah. And they've got the confidence to say it's wrong. Okay. I will always give you a clue and say, you know, is there anything here you don't like or blah, blah, blah. And that means, you know, come on, have a look. So is there any answer here that anybody would just like to, I don't know why you got that and why you got this? Or are we sort of okay?
I wasn't sure about the euro, whether it would be 1928 or 1927.2.
Right, let's have a look at the euro, okay? It says higher one. So if we've got 1927, yeah, if it's 7.1, it still goes up higher. Okay, this one you don't care about the 0.5 or 0.49, it's everything up. So even if we had 7.1000, it's still bigger than 7, it goes up to 8. Okay? Well, I think you're doing quite well on that. We are now right. Okay, some messages here. Right, yeah, that's correct. Okay, so it's time for our next break. I think you deserve it after that. Okay, but you seem to be getting the hang of it, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. And like I said, if you can see an answer and know, hang on, that looks funny, even if you didn't know why it looks funny, the fact you know it looks funny is a very good sign in a first lesson. So I'll tell you what, it's now 5:10. Let's make it a quick 5 minutes. We got a few bits to do, a little bit on next week's.